The article that I decided to use for my presentation was called The Effects of Visualization and Guided Imagery in Sports Performance. Some background information on visualization and guided imagery is that to excel in sports, just like anything one does, requires persistence in training and practice. Some athletes train not just the physical aspect, but strongly implement the cognitive training to enhance performance. Cognitive means the techniques focus on an individual's thoughts and perceptions, and some cognitive training includes things such as visualization, positive self talk, cognitive restructuring, and many more. Many athletes, especially professional and collegiate ones, have been known to use imagery and visualization techniques as an advantage during training and competition. Some of the introductory information for this experiment was that visualization or guided imagery has heavily drawn attention in the world today. By engaging athletes in a mental rehearsal for their performance in their respective sport, it can sharpen his or her focus and restore confidence in their ability to follow through. However, guided imagery is a relaxation technique based on visualizing pleasant images and body awareness to help people to create sensory rich images in their mind to promote relaxation, concentration, and body awareness. The main hypothesis of this study was that subjects in the free throw practice and guided imagery group will have the highest free throw percentage increase between baseline percentages and post-intervention percentages. And the main purpose of this study is to help validate whether guided imagery and visualization are effective when used as a method to enhance sport performance. So on to the methodology. 67 subjects ranging between the ages of 18 and 51 were recruited to participate. Of the 67 participants, 36 were male and 31 were female. 53 of the participants were between the ages of 18 and 23, 9 ranged between 24 and 30, and 4 ranged between the ages of 31 and 39, while only one person was over the age of 40. All the participants in this study were familiar with the sport of basketball and the concept of the shooting a free throw. These 67 people were then split into 3 random groups, which were just a free throw shooting group, a visualization group, and then a combination of both visualization group and a free throw shooting group. The equipment needed for this experiment was fairly simple. Everything was standard to a men's competitive basketball. So it was a size 7 Wilson rubber covered basketball, and the target was 15 away and was 10 feet high, just like standard regulations. So the experiment was split up into 3 phases. The phase 1 was the baseline phase, which entailed each participant's meeting at the Texas State Student Recreation Center or the Gary Job Corps Activity Center to shoot 25 free throws to gauge their free throw shooting percentage. Phase 2 was the intervention phase, which consisted of each subject practicing on their own time for 5 consecutive days. In this phase, the guided imagery group was provided with step-by-step guided imagery / visualization techniques that were implemented for the 5 consecutive days, while the free throw and guided imagery group shot 25 free throws a day and implemented guided imagery / visualization technique for 5 consecutive days. The free throw group, however, was just instructed to shoot 25 free throws a day for 5 consecutive days. Phase 3, which is a post-intervention phase, required all participants to reshoot their 25 free throws at the exact court and goal they shot their baseline free throws. As a result of this experiment, the guided imagery group showed improvement with 14 people, 6 showed a decrease, and 5 remained the same. For the free throw group, out of the 21 subjects, 9 showed improvement, 12 showed a decrease, and 0 remained the same. For the combination of the two, out of the 21 subjects, 11 showed improvement, 8 showed a decrease, and 2 remained the same. All groups had a 1.97% increase in free throw shooting percentage. So out of all the results combined, the guided imagery group had the best results, while the free throw group had the second best results, ultimately being the guided imagery and free throw group to have the worst results. However, one thing to note about the free throw group is that though it did not have the best percentage increase overall as a group, the top 3 subjects with the highest percentage increase were in this group. While the guided imagery group and free throw group technically had the lowest mean of all 3 groups, one factor that needs to be taken into consideration was the skewed scores in this group. For instance, the subjects in this group had minor increases in their free throw percentage, but the subjects that decreased in their free throw percentage had decreases that were so significant, it brought down the average for the entire group. Here on this chart shows just a breakdown of everything I just explained in percentages. We have the guided imagery group, free throw group, and then the combination of the two. And we can see that everyone significantly increased except for the guided imagery group and free throw group, but that was due to certain skews in the data. So overall for this experiment, the study aimed to evaluate and validate whether guided imagery and visualization are effective when used as a method to enhance free throw shooting percentage. The current results from this analysis indicate that guided imagery may not be as effective as previously published research insinuates, but for more accurate results, future researchers could have the participants shoot three trials of 25 free throws and then compute the average of the 3. Some possible limitations and cautions that were seen in this experiment is that some people who do not benefit from this technique or who are not capable of visualizing a relaxing image in his or her mind may have hindered possible data. And that although visualization can help improve an athlete's performance, it does have its limitations and will not turn an average athlete into an elite superstar. A major limitation, however, in the study was that the subjects were required to practice for 5 consecutive days on their own time, and they may have not practiced because no one was watching them. They just had to be held accountable to themselves and to the study. One last limitation in this study was not being able to be hands-on in regard to personally helping the participants rehearse their guided imagery and visualization exercise. Once again, it was just up to them to do it on their own, but from personal experience, it is easier when you have someone talking to you to give you the thought to follow. Other than that, some people may have just been going through the motions and not diving deep into the imagery they needed to see. However, the main takeaways from this article were that the current study did not find that the guided imagery intervention had a significant effect on enhancing the free throw percentage, but there are several case studies and past research that provides reliable proof that guided imagery can be extremely effective in sports performance. Guided imagery and visualization is a technique that is slowly gaining recognition in the world of sports and athletic completion today. One real world application from this experiment that we can see is swimmer Michael Phelps, who has 28 medals to his name. Each night, Phelps would relax his body limb by limb from head to toe before he would put in the videotape of his ideal performances. Phelps made a point to visualize things going well, things going poorly, and of course, the best case scenario. Phelps made the visualization as real as possible by incorporating all of his senses. And by the time Michael gets up on the blocks to swim in the World Championships or Olympics, he's swum that race hundreds of times in his mind before he gets up there. So this shows that by using visualization and guided imagery can enhance your performance in very extremely good ways, as we can see with Michael Phelps, because he has 28 medals to his name and is probably the best swimmer of all time. Here is my reference page for the article that I used. Thank you for listening to my presentation.